Goblin launch detected.
This video is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc. If you're looking for cards in the US, look no further as you can use the promo code MTGMudsta to get you 5% off anything on the site. Or if you're in Canada like me, you can use the same promo code at Multizone to get 10% off your orders of singles. If cards aren't what you're looking for, Original Magic Art has playmats, tokens, and sweet art that you can use that same promo code to help you get 5% off your order there. And if you just want to help out the channel, you can always consider becoming a patron for as little as $1 a month and join the generic Goblin Gang. Hey gang, and welcome back. Today's game finds us back at Multizone with Kevin playing his Zurzoth deck. He keeps a Mind Stone, Burn the House Down, Insult to Injury, Vicious Shadows, Faithless Looting, and 2 Mountains. Maximus is playing his Birgi deck again, keeping a Thermo Alchemist, 3 Mountains, Faithless Looting, Dockside Extortionist, and Rite of Flame. Miguel is playing Svella, keeping a Dousing Pteranodon, Mountain, 2 Forests, Soul Ring, Llanowar Elves, and a Colossal Dreadmaw. Last but not least, Maxim is playing Mazirek, keeping Soul of the Harvest, Return to Nature, Tireless Provisioner, Fleshbag Marauder, 3 Visits, Twilight Mire, and Overgrown Tomb. Kevin wins the die roll and starts us off. He plays a Mountain, and then taps it for Faithless Looting, drawing 2 and discarding 2. Miguel plays a Forest and casts Llanowar Elves. Maxim just plays an Overgrown Tomb tapped. Maximus plays a Mountain and also casts his own Faithless Looting, drawing 2 and discarding 2. Kevin plays another Mountain and casts Mind Stone. Tapping the Mind Stone lets him cast a Wayfarer's Bauble, and he passes. Miguel plays a Mountain and casts Soul Ring. With his abundance of mana, he's able to cast his commander, Svella, Ice Shaper, and passes to Maxim. Maxim plays a Twilight Mire and casts 3 Visits. He goes to find a Forest, putting it into play untapped, and passes. Maximus plays a Mountain and casts a Thermo Alchemist. Kevin draws and just has to pass. Miguel plays a Forest and is able to cast a turn 3 Colossal Dreadmaw. Take that, Limited! Maxim casts a Tireless Provisioner and then plays a Forest. This makes him a treasure token as it comes in, and he passes turn. Maximus plays a Mountain and casts his creature side of his commander card, Birgi, God of Storytelling, passing to Kevin. At the end of Maximus' turn, Kevin sacrifices the Bauble to find another Mountain into play. Moving to his turn, he then casts Zurzoth, Chaos Rider. He then casts a Burning Inquiry, having each player draw 3 cards and discard 3 cards at random. This creates him 3 1/1 Devil tokens that have when this creature dies, it deals 1 to any target, because his opponents drew cards when it wasn't their turn. After the draws and discards, he passes to Miguel. Miguel plays a Mountain and casts the Reclamation Sage, blowing up Kevin's Mind Stone. Moving to combat, he swings the Dreadmaw at Kevin, who takes the hit. Maxim plays an Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, and the table rejoices in the black mana. He makes a treasure thanks to the Provisioner, and then pays 5 for his commander, Mazirek, Crawl Death Priest. He then ships the turn to Maximus, who at the end of turn, taps the Alchemist, dealing 1 to the table. Maximus plays a Mountain and casts Wild Guess. With the Alchemist trigger on the stack, he taps it to deal 1 to his opponents, and then untaps it. He then discards Fiery Temper to the spell, and gets to cast it for its Madness cost, activating the Alchemist again before its untap trigger resolves. He decides to use the mana generated from Birgi from casting Wild Research, and has it deal 3 to Mazirek, making another mana with Birgi from casting a spell. With the target on the stack though, Maxim sacrifices 2 treasure tokens and gets to put 2 +1/+1 counters onto each of his creatures. He uses that floating mana to cast Return to Nature and takes out Miguel's Soul Ring. The burn spell then resolves, and Maximus draws his 2 cards. He taps 2 mountains and uses the last remaining Birgi mana to flashback Faithless Looting, making 1 more red. He draws 2 and discards 2, and then casts a Lotus Petal. He gets another mana from Birgi this time, and he casts a Pyretic Ritual, netting 4 mana and pinging the table yet again and then untapping the Alchemist. He then flashes back past In Flames, pinging the table once more and untapping the Alchemist. He uses the Lotus Petal for a red, and flashes back Rite of Flames to make 2 red mana and ping the table again, and makes another mana with Birgi. Using 2 of the 3 floating mana, he flashes back Pyretic Ritual, putting up to 5 mana and pinging the table again with the Alchemist before untapping it. He then pays 2 for a Tormenting Voice, discarding a card, pinging the table, and making another red mana thanks to Birgi. He casts Strike It Rich, making him a treasure token, getting a red mana, and dealing another 1 to the table. He then flashes back Wild Guess, discarding a card and drawing 2 more, and dealing 1 to the table. He finally casts a Gutter Snipe, and once that's resolved, flashes back Lightning Bolt to deal 3 to Mazirek. He pings the table with both the Gutter Snipe and the Alchemist, and then passes turn. Kevin casts a Cavalcade of Calamity, and then moves to combat. He swings a Devil apiece at each of his opponents, and deals 1 to each of his opponents by attacking, and then each player draws a card and discards a card at random, making another 3 Devil tokens. We then move to blocks, with 2 of them getting blocked, and he uses the on-death trigger damage to take out the Gutter Snipe, and passes to Miguel. Miguel plays a Terramorphic Expanse, and then casts Rurik Thar the Unbowed, effectively turning off any plays Maximus had to storm out on. Moving to combat, he swings the Dreadmaw at Kevin, dealing 6 and passing turn. Maxim plays a Forest and makes a treasure token. He then casts a Beast Whisperer and passes to Maximus, who at the end of turn taps his Alchemist to ping the table for 1. Maximus just draws and casts an Electrostatic Field, passing to Kevin. Kevin goes straight to combat on his turn and swings a Devil apiece at each of his opponents, repeating his last turn. Unfortunately, he ends up discarding a land again and deals some damage thanks to his Cavalcade. Some of his tokens are blocked though, and he has the ping damage hitting Maximus, and also makes another 3 Devil tokens and passes. Miguel taps out to activate Svella, and he hits a Frenzied Saddleback, casting it. Moving to combat, he has to swing Rurik Thar, who goes at Maximus, and the Dreadmaw goes at Maxim, and the Saddleback goes at Kevin. With no blocks, each player takes the hit, and Miguel passes. Maxim plays a Forest, making another treasure token. He recasts his commander, Mazirek, and draws a card from the Beast Whisperer, seeing him cast a creature card. Maximus plays a Mountain, and then casts a Tuk-Tuk Rubble Fort, and passes. Kevin once more goes to combat, swinging 1 Devil each as per usual, and deals 1 to each of his opponents thanks to the Cavalcade. Everyone also gets to draw a card and discard a card at random, and he makes 3 more Devil tokens. Maximus triple blocks with his walls, while Miguel takes the hit, and Maxim blocks one of the Devils, and Kevin decides to deal 1 to Llanowar Elves before passing. Miguel draws for turn, and casts a Mana Crypt, taking the first 6 damage from Rurik Thar of the game, and then spins the Svella wheel, hitting a Llanowar tribe. Moving to combat, he swings the Dreadmaw, the Saddleback, and Rurik Thar at Maximus. Maximus prevents 8 of the damage, but still takes 6. Maxim plays and cracks Terramorphic Expanse, getting a total of 2 treasures from the Provisioner. He sacrifices 3 treasures to put 3+1/+1 counters onto his team, and uses that floating mana to cast a Demon's Disciple, forcing his opponents to each sacrifice a creature, and getting 4 Mazirek triggers to put 4+1/+1 counters onto his team again. Maximus decides to sacrifice Birgi, Kevin sacrifices a Devil token and deals 1 to Maxim with it, and Miguel sacrifices a Saddleback. Maxim then sacrifices his last treasure token to put another counter onto his team, and uses some of the floating mana to cast a Wood Elves. It comes in, and finds him a Forest card which puts into play another treasure token, but he unfortunately misses that trigger. Moving to combat, he swings his commander at Kevin, making him miss your last place. At the end of turn, Maximus taps his Alchemist to deal 1 to his opponents again. Maximus casts Mizzix's Mastery, taking 6 from Ruric Thar's trigger. He also pings the table for 1 with the Alchemist before it gets untapped from casting a spell. And then goes to cast Dragonstorm and takes another 6, finding 2 dragons from his library and put them onto the field. He finds Terror of Mount Velis and the Thundermaw Hellkite. The Terror gives his team double strike and he swings the Hellkite and Miguel, who blocks with Ruric Thar, who has reach. The creatures trade, and Maximus then ends his turn. Miguel plays a Forest and casts an Elemental Bond. He then spins Svella, and this time hits a Ripscale Predator. He casts it, and with nothing else, passes. Maxim plays a Forest card and casts an Inspiring Call, drawing 3 and giving his creatures +1/+1 counters and indestructible until the end of turn. He then casts a Roiling Regrowth and sacrifices it to go and find 2 basics to play, putting yet another +1/+1 counter onto his team from his commander's trigger, plus getting 2 more treasure tokens. Moving to combat, he swings his commander at Miguel and the rest of the team goes at Maximus. Before damage is dealt, Maximus pings the board and loses 2 of his creatures to block, and Miguel gets taken out. Maximus casts a dragon, but unfortunately it's not big enough or strong enough to stop Maxim's board state, and he concedes the game to Maxim, giving him the win. Game review time. This one was a lot of fun, and not just because there was no blue. It was great to see Maximus's Birgi deck going off, and he actually got to cast Dragonstorm, not to mention Mizik's Mastery and Past in Flames, 3 cards which I'd love to see resolve. The antithesis to his deck though, however, was Ruric Thar, and I'm always happy to see that big, beautiful 2-headed ogre boy hitting the field. And what was even funnier was that it hurt Miguel before it hurt anyone else. Kevin's Zurzoth deck did what it wanted to do, which was make demons and make people draw cards. I think he wanted to have more payoffs for his 1/1 tokens, and I'm pretty sure people put a lot of hate towards someone who's making them discard cards they like, which is part of the reason he got taken out first. I think the last time that I saw a Mazirek deck was before treasures became so common, and that Tireless Provisioner did so much work for his deck, my goodness. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, Cool Stuff Inc., Multizone, Original Magic Art, and Alter Sleeves. But it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents